Let us all stand. We will be singing What a Beautiful Name.
Your hand It is wonderful, and it is powerful. Without it, without the name of Jesus, we will be lost. Father, thank you so much for the privilege we have to come and lift our praises to you and to you alone. Father, as we open up your word this morning, as Brother David comes, I pray that our hearts would be melted, we would be convicted, and we would respond to your word, Father. We ask all these things you owe. Amen.
Well, what do y'all think? Right? Now, one of those girls you may not have recognized, those of you, some of you do, but one of those was Macy Inman. She's from Grace Point Church in Eagle Heights, and out on Interstate 10, and she is a friend of all of these others, and especially of some of the homeschool bunch. And so we're so grateful that she was able to be with us today. Her dad let her sneak off for a while. We're going to talk about how to become a leader. And most people, when they think about leadership, they don't think about following. Probably about 1987 or so, I was wearing this gargantuan little radio thing, had a tape player and had a radio, AM, FM radio in it, and I had earphones on, and I was pushing my mower back and forth in the front yard in a home that we lived in there in Houston. I was the minister of youth at Baptist Temple Baptist Church in the Heights area. And that day, as I was mowing the grass and I was listening to KSBJ, they had a little talk segment in there. And in that talk segment, they said, how much do you think preachers ought to make financially for what they do? Well, I thought this was interesting. I was a youth minister, and obviously we don't often make anywhere near what senior pastors make. And so I was curious what would be said. Well, as it got toward the end of the time there, someone called in and said, I think it's ridiculous how much they're paying senior pastors and all these people to do. Jesus didn't have anything, and he was an itinerant preacher, and I got that, but I tell you what, I turned that mower off, and I walked in the house, and I got a phone that was wired to the wall, because that's all existed, was phones wired to the wall. And I called KSBJ, and they answered the phone. I was like, hey, I have a comment to make about that last little thing. All right, so what would you like to say? And I said, you know, pastors are doing eternal work. And basketball players and football players and folks like that are going to make more money in one season than most pastors make in their whole lifetime. And they played on air. And I thought, you know, the world is so upside down. Right now, if you're the CEO of some major corporation, your bonus, I got bad news, your bonus went down this year. You're only going to get a $5 million bonus this year. Oh, right? And so if you want to be a CEO, you're not a person who supposedly got there by learning how to follow. But Jesus and his kingdom and his way of doing things is completely different. Now, if you were in our adult Sunday school worker training, or if you're just one of the folks that attended, you're going to see a page coming up here, leading by following. And so here's the last two copies I have. If you're an adult Sunday school teacher worker and you didn't get yours, well, here they are. And obviously we can get more. It comes from a book called Preacher of the Word, which is the description by the Reformation writers back in the 16th century, talking about the church, that the church only exists because of the Word of God. That's the only reason it exists. Because God has given his word and empowered it by his Spirit. And so we as a church family are a creature of the word. If you look at us, we're all exactly the same, right? No, we do exactly the same thing, right? No, we think the same way, obviously. right? We're all planning on going to Robert's together and have the same thing at lunch today, right? No. And so what is the one singular thing that we have in common? And that is Jesus. It is the work of Jesus Christ that he did on our behalf, and is the fact that he has included us in his body, the local church. Now, as we look